They say some secrets are meant to stay buried, but for Odi Maria, the past is a hurricane that never truly stops blowing. Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today, we're stepping into the past 6 years before the main story of Celestial Eyes. We are uncovering a story Odi hoped she never have to publish on her blog. The day she met a woman named Uju, and the day her hands were stained with blood. This is the part of the origin story of Celestial Eyes, tracing back to how the duo met. And it's titled Celestial Eyes Noir, No Rest for the Wicked. Now, if you haven't seen my first video on the main story of Celestial Eyes, I'll be linking that in the video description below. Make sure to check out the first video before proceeding with this video so that you can get the full picture. And with that out of the way, let's get into today's story. The story opens with a haunting confession from Odi Maria. She stares down at her own hands, which appear stained with blood. This isn't just a story for her blog, it's a memory of a horrible incident that fundamentally changed her. Even as she has grown into a better woman, the weight of her past still haunts her. She reveals a dark truth, the very first case she worked on with Uju, and that was the day she committed murder. We jump back to 2017, 6 years before the main continuity. The setting is Mama Uzor's mansion on Calabar Street in Aba. Long before Odi met Uju, Mama Uzor was her everything, her mentor, the closest thing she had to a mother, and raised her as her own. But Odi describes her younger self as a hurricane and a natural disaster, a woman who laid waste to everything she set her eyes on. Inside the mansion, Mama Uzor is in the middle of a business deal with a mysterious glowing-eyed woman. That's Uju, by the way. But this was before she became close friends with Udi. Mama Uzor offers a payment of 2,050 naira in advance for a difficult job, promising the rest upon completion. Uju takes the cash, noting that Mama Uzor is finally speaking her language. The meeting is then interrupted when Odi Maria bursts into the room. Mama Uzor is shocked to see her ward in Aba, but Odi isn't there for a social visit. Identifying herself as an investigative journalist whose job is to sniff out evil, Odi confronts Mama Uzor about a woman named Daa Vivien. Odi calls Daa Vivien a child murderer and demands to know why Mama Uzor is planning to harbor such a monster. Mama Uzor tries to shut down the argument, telling Odi to let go of her grudge. She then introduces Odi to the woman she just hired, Uju. Odi is skeptical, dismissively asking if she's part of the press. Uju, with a calm confidence and a firm handshake, corrects her. She isn't a journalist, she's something much more specialized, an occult detective. Later that day, the scene shifts to a desolate area under a heavy downpour near an old church. Uju is not happy about her tag along, warning Odi Maria that she shouldn't be here because the work is genuinely dangerous. While Odi views this as an imaginary job, Uju is dead serious. She is the one who keeps the monster away from the waking world. Since Mama Uzor cleared Odi to join, Uju makes one thing clear: Odi has to play by her rules. Waiting in the car, Odi maintains her skeptical front, claiming she's a realist who doesn't believe in ghosts or the unnatural. She views the world in simpler terms: there are only humans and monsters, and she believes that Vivian is both. Uju has no time for debate. She tells Odi to grab an umbrella and meet them outside. As Uju steps into the rain, she utters an incantation: Moon Eyes protect me, activating a glowing blue consecrated shield that keeps her dry without an umbrella. They reach the bank of the Abba River to meet the high-profile client, Daa Vivien. Uju attempts a formal greeting acknowledging Vivien's status as the pearl and arm of the High Council, but Vivien cuts the formalities short. She is only there because the rumors are true. Someone is after her life. Uju assures her that as Mama Uzor's best mystic, Vivien is safe with her. Meanwhile, Odi struggles through the storm. causing a lack of a raincoat as she catches up to the two powerful women. Daa Vivien is skeptical about their location, questioning if she's truly safe at the river banks. Uju explains that the real safety lies within the church in the distance, an unconventional sanctuary giving Vivian's high standing in the Marine High Council. But as they walk, the tension between the ward and the client explodes. Odi stares at Vivian with pure hatred, recognizing her immediately. She calls her the devil woman. The internal conflict is cut short when Uju senses a presence watching them from the shadows. She wants both Udi and Vivian to hold on, calling out the hidden threat. Suddenly, a terrifying jagged shadow lunges from the darkness with a wide tooth-filled maw. Uju doesn't hesitate. She releases another incantation, Moon Eyes Cut Down, unleashing a three razor slice of blue energy that tears through the creature in an instant. The veil is lifted for Odi Maria. Watching the terrifying shadow creature emerge, she finally admits that monsters are real. Uju, completely unfazed, welcome her to the world she lives in every day. As more creatures surround them, Uju realizes they are being swarmed. She points towards the church in the distance, commanding Odi and Vivian to run there as fast as they can, while she stays behind to hold the line. Uju draws a massive glowing blade. The light of her weapon cuts through the dark, rainy night as Odi and the terrified Vivian sprint for the sanctuary. Uju leaps into the fray. Amidst the flashes of lightning and the roar of the storm, she becomes a whirlwind of steel and blue energy, single-handedly battling the horde of shadow monsters to buy the others time. Inside the church, Odi and Vivian are safe from the monsters, but not from the truth. Out of breath, Vivian tries to plead with Odi, thanking her and claiming that she's a better person now. She acknowledges Odi's hatred and begs for her forgiveness. The conversation is interrupted by a distorted voice coming from Odi. Something has taken over her body, and it asks Vivian what about us. The figure reveals itself as a manifestation of the children Vivian murdered. They appear as ghostly, bleeding figures with hollowed-eyed eyes. The spirit declared that God doesn't help the wicked, He breaks them. They explained that their souls were kept on earth safely to exact revenge for their deaths. As they swarm Vivian, the air fills with the repeated bloody cry of vengeance. In the chaos of the divine retribution, the scene turns violent. Odi Maria, caught in a trance-like state of horror and fury, finds her hands literally stained red. Vivian, now in her true form, lays dead on the floor. Uju kicks open the church doors just in time to see the aftermath. Vivian lies dead on the floor of the sanctuary, and Odi is on her knees, staring at her blood-soaked hands. This was the moment Odi's life changed forever. The day her investigation turned into an act of blood. Soon after, she falls unconscious. In the aftermath of the violence, the true power of the aquatic world emerged. The Marine High Council, a group of powerful water deities, gathers to observe the results. Among them are Grand Mistress of the Niger, Imo, and Omambala rivers, as well as the mistresses of the Urashi, Otamiri, and Aba rivers. They offer a rhythmic applause. The Grand Mistress commends Uju, calling her a moon witch, and acknowledges that her effort alongside Mama Uzor in keeping the peace will not be forgotten. Uju, holding a semi-conscious Odi Maria, accept their thanks, but the mercy ends there. The High Council declares it's time to feast, and they begin to consume the remains of Vivian as part of an ancient ritual. The next day at Abia State General Hospital, Mama Uzor pays Uju a final 250,000 naira. Uju explains the grisly details of the Oha Mary eating their own, though Mama Uzo admits she'd rather pass on the specifics. Uju confirms that Odi is going to be fine now that the vengeful spirits have been exorcised from her body. As it turns out, the spirit didn't want blood for blood's sake, they simply wanted justice. Uju reveals the deep tragedy of the situation, that Vivian was caught between Odi Maria's personal vendetta and the internal politics of the Marine High Council. Odi had been a host to those vengeful spirits for over a decade. They had latched onto her pure hatred for Vivien. Odi had actually been raised in Vivien's orphanage and suffered through cruelties inflicted on the children there. When the council finally decided to cut Vivien loose, they hired Uju to finish the job. Uju goes to check on Odi in her hospital bed. Odi is fully aware of the world of monsters and the fact that Mama Uzor pays Uju to keep them at bay. Despite the trauma, Odi's spirit isn't broken. She proposed they join forces as a team so she can write about their cases. While Uju gives an immediate hell no, Odi just smiles. According to Mama Uzor, they are friends now, and Odi tells Uju she's stuck with her forever. And that comes the end of this spin-off story of Celestial Eyes. So guys, that was the ending of Celestial Eyes Noir, No Rest for the Wicked. The story is very straightforward and there isn't really much enshrouded in misery as the writer gives an explanation for the misery involved in this one, at least by the end. In case you've made it to the end of this video without seeing the main story, I urge you to check that out. It's linked in my video description. Thanks for staying to the end of this video and I'll see you in the next one.